When I first contacted the private investigator, I didn't really know what I was hoping to find. Maybe closure. Maybe justice. Or maybe forgiveness I didn't deserve. It had been 3 years since I'd last seen Daniel, my ex-husband, the man I'd betrayed. The guilt had stayed with me all that time, no matter how hard I tried to bury it beneath the noise of a life that never quite felt like mine. Daniel had been everything anyone could wish for: gentle, patient, and loyal in ways that made me feel unworthy of him. And maybe that's why I destroyed it. I told myself his calm meant indifference, that his love had lost its spark. When someone at work started showing interest, I mistook attention for passion. It didn't take long before my secret came to light. When it did, Daniel didn't shout, didn't accuse, didn't even argue. He just left. Quietly. And that silence hurt far more than any fight could have. Years passed, but the echo of that silence never left me. I didn't want him back, I knew I had forfeited that right, but I needed to know he was okay. I wanted to believe he had rebuilt himself, that life had been kind to him. So I hired a private investigator named Mark, a reserved man with sharp eyes who promised answers within a week. I told him I only needed to know if Daniel was happy, if he'd moved on. Mark didn't pry. He just nodded and got to work. The first few days crawled by. Every hour dragged, filled with memories of the life I'd broken. I remembered Daniel brewing coffee for us both, even after nights we'd fought. How he'd wait by the window when I came home late, pretending he wasn't worried. And the last look in his eyes when he learned the truth, not anger, just heartbreak. On the 6th day, Mark called. "I've got what you asked for," he said. We met at a small cafe downtown. He slid a worn folder across the table. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside were photos: Daniel walking through a park, sitting by a lake, helping an elderly man with groceries. In one, he was smiling. For a moment, relief flooded through me. He looked peaceful. But then Mark spoke softly. He's been living in a small town, about 2 hours away. Works as a volunteer at a community center. Keeps to himself. Doesn't mention the past. I nodded, unsure what to say. Then he hesitated. "There's something else. You should know." My stomach tightened. "What is it?" Mark took out another envelope. "He's not well," he said quietly. I froze. He was diagnosed with a heart condition last year. In and out of hospitals. Doctors say stress made it worse. The words hit like a wave of cold water. "Does he have anyone?" I whispered. Mark shook his head. "He lives alone. A neighbor, a woman, checks on him, brings food sometimes. They're not together." She said he rarely talks about personal things. My vision blurred with tears. I could barely breathe. I had imagined him happy, healed, free from the pain I caused. Instead, he was quietly enduring the scars I'd left behind. I asked Mark if it would be wrong for me to visit. He paused. "You can," he said slowly, "but be prepared for the truth. It may not be what you want to hear." That night, sleep wouldn't come. My mind replayed every cruel word, every lie, every choice that had pushed him away. By morning, I knew I had to go, not for forgiveness, but to say sorry, even if it was years too late. When I reached his town, it felt untouched by time, still and quiet. The community center stood at the corner, its sign faded by weather. Through the window, I saw Daniel sitting with a group of children, helping one repair a broken toy. His smile, gentle and familiar, hit me like a memory. I stayed outside for a while, afraid to shatter the calm he had found. Then, summoning what courage I had left, I stepped inside. He looked up. For a moment, recognition flickered in his eyes, then a soft composure, not anger, not surprise. "Hi, Daniel," I said quietly. He studied me for a long moment before answering. "You didn't have to come." His voice was tired, not cold. I tried to explain, to tell him how sorry I was, how I'd thought about him every single day, but he gently stopped me. "You don't have to carry this forever," he said. "I forgave you a long time ago. I just couldn't stay somewhere that reminded me of everything we lost." Those words broke me in a way nothing else could. I wanted to tell him I still cared, but it didn't feel fair. Before I left, he gave a faint smile. "I hope you find peace, too." I nodded, tears spilling freely. As I walked back to my car, I realized I'd found what I was truly looking for, not forgiveness, but truth. Daniel had rebuilt quietly, carrying the pain I'd given him without letting it define him. The investigator's report had shattered me, but Daniel's calm had healed something inside me. I drove away understanding that sometimes, real love isn't about holding on, it's about letting go.